Hi there, Sandra here from Create in Spain. Thank you for joining me today. Today I wanted to tell you about different types of LEDs that you can use in card making. Now the reason for this is because these days with the postage as it is being rather expensive, if you're going to send cards through the post you want to make them as slim as possible. So there are a couple of different types of lights that I tend to use. The first one is probably the easiest for you to get hold of, and this is called a rice light. You'll know it simply because they are so common these days in long strings of battery operated lights. So you have a tiny little LED in what looks to be about the size of a grain of rice, hence the name. Now you've probably looked at these and thought, yeah, they're very nice, but how do you use a single light bulb? Well, it's actually very easy. You just get some wire snippers and you snip off a light bulb. Now, in this particular, one of my wires has literally come off. Well, that saved me thinking about which side to take off. What you do is you take off wires on one side. You literally snip them with scissors. I do have some wire snippers. And then these wires here, there's a positive and a negative. And all you have to do is to take a nail file or emery board and you want to gently file the ends. Now the reason for this is because there's a coating on the wires that stops the wire shorting out when they're in long lengths, put it that way. We're not going to be using long lengths of them though. You can, if you want to, use more than one in sequence. Just keep 3 lights, for example, together. But you might find that your lights get a bit dim depending on the battery you're using. So one side is positive, one side is negative. I have a CR2016 battery here. Now I can show you the profile, it's pretty thin. Now the usual one that people used to use was a 2032, I think it is, which is like double the thickness and does make it a little bit chunky. So you put a battery between there and oh, nothing happens. Fancy that. That's just because I need to reverse the battery and there you go. This happens to be a green one, you get them in all different colours. Sometimes you get them in strings with multicolours on one string. But if you buy white light bulbs, you can colour them whatever colour you like, just by putting an alcohol marker over the top of the bulb. Make sure it's a dark marker to get the most effect, but that will colour the bulb for you and you'll get a different colour light. So this is probably the easiest, cheapest way of putting an LED in a card. Okay. Along with that, you will need self-adhesive copper tape. I've got some here. Now, be wary when buying self-adhesive copper tape. You want to buy a well-known brand. You want to buy a good quality one because the lower quality ones don't conduct electricity as well, and the adhesive on the back of them frequently doesn't conduct power very well at all. And if you happen to end up with a broken circuit and you need to do a patch, you'll need to have one with self-adhesive, conductive adhesive. And that makes a big difference. It's not horrendously expensive and you're not going to use yards and yards and yards of it, so just get a good one. So the other type of light I've got here is one which I took from a string of LEDs that are designed to go around the room. You know, the ones that are in like the plastic lengths. I spent a couple of hours with a few strings of that taking the bulbs out. I can't say it's the easiest of things to do, but if you have the patience and the time, you end up with a lot of very cheap light bulbs. I'm able to get a meter of these for about €3. So it's worth doing. Now on the back of it you'll see 2 little rows of feet. These are the contacts. One side is positive, one side is negative. And all you need to do to prep this, when you've got it loose, if you can get it loose from its surroundings, is again with a file, go over the contacts to clean them up. No, I've already done this one, so it really doesn't need doing anymore. But you just give it a gentle clean, and you'll find that if you've got a dull surface, you'll find it go shiny, and then you know you've got it clean. You've got the fixative off of it. So that would go in between your copper tape, gap in between your copper tape, bulb in the centre, just as you would otherwise. Right, the third option, which I do not have, because they're quite pricey, and I'm usually doing cards for demonstration purposes, not to send, and that is the Chibitronics. Now, I did look on a site in Spain today, and they were on offer. I think it was 30 light bulbs, that was it. It was 30 bulbs for about €25 plus post and packing. But the post and packing was going to add another quite hefty sum on top of that. I couldn't find them on Amazon at any reasonable cost. I saw a kit for about €66 for Chibitronics on Amazon. I thought, you have to be joking, that's definitely not happening. So Chibitronics sell basically this or a similar type of LED within a little sticker. It's a triangular sticker, and it has the positive and the negative marked on it, and you just take the adhesive backing off and pop it down wherever it is that it's needed. So easy, convenient, flat, but pricier. I wanted to mention this because my next video coming up very shortly is about how to make a battery LED card.